Howdy, howdy. We are live, ready to talk about some brand spanking new Star Trek Prodigy footage, which for me is very, very exciting. And I'm joined by Aaron. How's it going, Aaron?
Good. I am excited to talk about this because it was a lot of fun,
Yeah,
and then I wanted it to continue.
well received, especially after the sad news we got earlier in the year with Star Trek Prodigy being removed,
Yeah,
being stolen, ripped away from us from Paramount Plus to be hoarded off on some other streaming platform. Who
I
knows
feel like
where?
this sort of tells you that at least the people who are creating Star Trek, like outside of the big CEOs, are very supportive of Star Trek, and they like because
Yes.
I don't they would not have paid for it to continue to be finished if they were like, nope, we're done. It
Yeah,
would just
that
go away,
the,
like the Scooby Doo movie or whatever that was.
something that your buddy Star Trek brand VP John Van Sitters was reiterating throughout the animation panel he was on at San Diego that we talked about back in July was that
Yeah,
Prodigy's not going away. It is going to find a new home. They are committed to finishing season two. It's still
I think it's
possible
almost
for
finished, right? I mean,
right. There's 10 in the can, and the other 10 are almost done.
okay.
So, which I heard firsthand over the weekend from the Hageman brothers, who were in attendance. Aaron Walke was there. Composer Nami was there. I spoke to the Hageman brothers a little bit. Aaron Walke was kind enough to introduce me to them, and
That's cool.
I learned how to tell them apart. By the way, Kevin is the one with curly hair, and Dan is the one with the beard.
Oh, okay.
But the good news I heard from them, and they're very confident about the show finding a home. They just don't know where. We'll get into the clip
Yeah.
in a moment, and I got screenshots. We'll break it down. Me and Aaron are gonna nerd out over the return of the Doctor and the ships and the uniforms and the shuttle and
Wearing
the
my mobile
mission.
emitter.
And
If I
the
just disappear, it's because it's ran out of
it can
batteries or
yeah,
something.
you're in like that nebula that interfered with it when Seven of Nine
Yeah,
was going
exactly.
crazy. A mobile emitter, it always works great until it doesn't. But every piece of
Just
technology
like
in
every
Star
piece of
Trek,
Star
yeah.
Trek technology.
But
Yeah,
just come up with
exactly.
some gobbledygook in the script to make it not work when it's convenient for it not to work. But
I'm rewatching Lower Decks, and they make fun of that when they're mining the mines of whatever your mind was.
mining the mind's mind.
Mine, yes. Where it was just like they're finally trying to get away, and they're in a cave that's a big crystal cave that has the machine inside of it. And she goes, "Oh, do you think maybe that this will act as an antenna?" And no, of course not. She's just like never works like that, because she was just like trying to use the communicators, and they didn't work. But I just love it. It's like she's sort of calling out that trope almost.
Right,
Like,
right. Like why? Well, why doesn't it work this time?
yeah,
Like it would have in any other show. Yeah, I love like that self awareness sometimes.
yeah.
But the good news on Prodigy, like I was saying, is the Hagemans are confident it will find a home, and I've been saying on the show with my idiot speculation with what little knowledge I have access to, I'm thinking it most likely will be Netflix or Amazon, just given those are the huge streaming services that buy a lot of other people's content, and Netflix already had a working relationship with the Hageman, so I did ask them about that, and they're thinking that Amazon might act. They agreed with me. Those are the two most
Yeah.
likely. So I felt kind of validated by that. Like, oh, I sometimes I do know what I'm talking about.
I
But
kind of don't want it to be on Netflix, because if that happens, it probably will just be that's it. Season 2, you're done.
yeah,
Because they after their first season of whatever show they put on, they just don't give any kind of advertising. They don't
mhm.
pump it up. They just like, I don't know. I'd rather see it on Amazon for that
Well,
reason.
also Amazon is more likely to give us weekly distribution than a 10
Mm,
episode drop. I know tons of people would love a 10 episode drop. For what we do, it would not be. I'm not gonna say nightmarish because I want more product. That's my
yes.
priority. I want it. That's priority one, right? It's priority
But
one
if
mission.
like if they dropped all 20 of them, somebody would get through all of them before we even like had a chance to get on the air with
Yeah.
episode 1.
Yeah, so but the reason why Amazon sounds a bit more likely is because Amazon is not as much direct competition with Paramount Plus. They have a partnership. You
Ah,
can buy Paramount Plus through Amazon. Netflix
that's
doesn't have that
right.
option. So, and you
Yeah,
can
that's
also
true.
buy Star Trek episodes on Amazon.
Yeah.
So which Paramount gets a piece of, and they're still
And it's
using
also
them
used
for
overseas, right?
right the
For
overseas
yeah.
distribution. So they were thinking Amazon possibly more likely than Netflix. I kind
Well,
of
and
had it
like Jill in
reversed, but
the comment said, it's like Netflix cancels, Amazon saves.
yeah, that is the historical precedent. And but they had a working relationship with the Hagemans. Netflix did, and I kind of think they would, want to get another one of the shows. But yeah, Amazon would be more likely, I think, for season 3. And they said have ideas. Aaron Walke
Oh yeah,
was
I mean,
saying
like,
he's ready to go on season 3, and I would absolutely
as
love
long as
that.
Aaron's involved, I don't think there will ever be like a dearth of ideas. There will always be like, oh, we could do this and that, because he's such a big fan, but also
Yeah.
like a realistic one at the same time, if that makes sense. It's like there are some people who are huge fans, but if you put them in charge of a story, it would just be a train wreck.
Yeah, totally, and yeah, he
So
knows what he's doing. He's a
yeah.
professional. He's worked on several shows with the hack. He was doing, speaking of Netflix, like the Troll Hunter shows and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So,
I
and
need to watch that. I haven't seen that yet.
you look at how well they paced the show. I don't think Prodigy is the greatest Star Trek show ever, but I always say this about it. I'll say, hey, it's the only Star Trek show that's never disappointed me. I've never watched an episode of it and was like, well, that was disappointing. I waited all week for that. Never happened. And it's also, I think, the best written, if you're doing like the hardcore string serialization continuity, where every episode bleeds into the next episode. They've done that better than any other Star Trek show ever.
Yeah. I wish there was like not that gap in the between it. That I think kind of killed some of its momentum.
Oh, I'm glad you bring that up. Before we get into breaking down this clip, that was the I'll shut up about talking to the Hageman brothers
No,
after
no.
this. But
If you have like
they,
real firsthand information, that's great.
they said that one of the things that hurt the show probably was the way it was released, and that the way that kids watch content, they like to binge. They like having a big episode, like just as much how I was saying, like I don't want like a 10 episode release. That actually would have helped the show win over kids, because they want
Oh,
something that they can sit in front of out of it if they want. So
that's true.
well, that was interesting. But yeah,
I know some people talked about Nickelodeon, but I feel like Nickelodeon, because it's part of Paramount, and also that doesn't seem like it would be likely, because it's just like it's
right,
technically like in the same place, just with a different brand on top of it. So
right, because they factored it into their financial calculation of what if we cut these shows, how will that get us ahead on whatever. And so there's a good article that you and I were talking about off camera earlier today from Tony Pascal at Trek Movie, and I think he mentions there that that would make it very unlikely for Paramount Plus to reverse the decision, which I think
yeah,
would have been the best case of
well,
any
yeah,
possible
exactly.
scenario. But
That would have been amazing too. It's like I don't know. At the same time, that also gives some fans an inflated sense of their power. I think it's like
I mean, we're the fandom that got NBC to say on air, like, stop
yeah.
sending us letters, we'll give you season 3. So
But I honestly think that has probably had more people than there is now. It's like I believe we have a social media bubble a little bit, where it's like there's
probably
like outside of it, it's like it sounds like somebody's screaming, but it's sort of like I think we joked about this one, like the Titanic scene where it's like, but way off in the distance, all you see is the Titanic and like little fireworks that they're shooting out because you're way far away. It's like I think sometimes social media is like that too, at least the CEOs.
yeah, totally. And even just as fans, we sometimes we'll make mountains out of molehills that the
Yeah, yeah.
most of the viewership's not going to care about.
There's an interesting bell curve when something like there's like, oh, people are like it's like, oh, they're upset, but then they're like hopeful and they're trying to then they kind of like go back down, and it's just like they respond to every tweet from Paramount with like almost like you killed my child, like no, it's not that bad, it's a television show. So it's very weird. It's like sometimes it's just like or with the Star Trek animated series 50th anniversary, it's like there's no way we can celebrate that without Prodigy. I'm like, okay, yes, you can. We're going to, because I'm going to beat you if we don't. But no, it's just sort of like, you're allowed to, you can do both. You can push for
Yes.
saving Star Trek Prodigy and also be excited about an anniversary. It's not impossible. Two things can happen at one time.
Well, the clip
Sorry, I'll
we
get off my
see.
soapbox now.
No, you're great. I like having Aaron Harvey on the Trek animation soapbox. That's where you were born to be. That's your home. As much as Dow thinks he belongs in the captain's chair,
Yeah.
that's where you belong.
Wait, no, that's I don't. Okay, I would hope I actually belong on the soapbox for the animation more than probably Dal belongs in Captain's
Yeah,
chair.
he does go revert a little bit back to his kind of early cockiness and kind of just assuming he's the default leader. But the clip, the
But that's
first
part of
thing,
his charm at this point.
yeah, they got to kind of like reestablish the character for
Yeah.
like the new season, remind the audience
There's
who he
when we get
is.
to it, we can talk about it. There's a couple things. It's like, oh, that's exactly what you said at the closing of the last season.
But it seems like when it opens, there's been a little bit of a time gap. The characters appear slightly different, like different
Yep.
hairstyles. The uniforms are different, which would make sense. They're out of those Protostar uniforms that Chakotay
Right
was
now, they're in
wearing.
some other random thing.
The character models look a lot better. They added
Yeah,
the clothes are a little baggier. They're not as like skin tight, so you get like these folds with like a bit
you
more
actually get
detail.
fabric.
I love the all good things comm badge, which I wore Saturday since I didn't have any Prodigy cosplay
Oh, that's cool.
other than that. But like the all good things comm badge has been my favorite comm badge since 1994, and I'm glad that it's like actually in the prime timeline now. Is like it's an official comm badge. So
The funny thing is, like when it first came out, it was like, oh, cool, different comm badge. Or the future wasn't it in Future Imperfect first, or the
no, that was the one that had like the four lines. That
oh,
was
that's
also
right.
doing
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ranks,
you're
I
right.
think.
No, that one looks like popsicle sticks.
That's
I
my
didn't like
least
that one.
favorite.
Yeah,
But then it came back in parallels, which makes no sense because it was originally
that's what it was.
there was like
Yes.
the weird alien kid that tried to make
Yeah.
Riker think that he was his dad.
Yeah. Why would that happen? Yeah, exactly. But no, I took that design and basically I made what the Picard one ended up looking like. I just shaved the top. I'm like, oh, this makes more sense. And so it was like back in '94, I designed that already. It was just like because that's
Yeah.
the only thing that bugs me about that is like it just feels like two planks of wood. Just like I want it to make more sense.
Yeah,
But it's
when
still
they're
good.
they're clipped off in especially like when it went gold in Picard season 3 because it was silver in seasons 1 and
The
2.
silver didn't work.
And it was only the last episode of Picard that it turned gold. But
Yeah.
I don't know about like the maroon and gray on the uniforms. The I don't know if that's kind of a throwback to like the Monster Maroon era or is it like an
Literally
Academy
the
thing?
same color of the TV station I used to work at in Vancouver, Washington. Just like that's what we painted it. That was in '90 whatever. That was the height of cool color combinations. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel flattering. It doesn't
Yeah,
pop off the screen. It's just like it's something that's like okay. I don't assume that they're going to keep those. Maybe they are.
yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, they seem to change their look frequently, which makes sense. I know that like the show was designed with a toy market in mind.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So
The point in the middle is weird to me. Like it's almost like oh we're sewing it and we just realized that it goes up too high, so just put it there.
yeah, I'm kind of hoping that the design either grows on me or they mature into something else. But
Yeah. I mean they're not horrible. They're just like not my favorite. It feels like that cadets and people in training or they get more complicated uniforms than the regular crew. I don't know why, but
or they get the ones that no one else wants to wear. Like you said, like I don't think these would be very flattering. I don't know if I'd pull one off. But it was nice seeing them like oh they've spent some time apart from each other and we're kind of like doing their own thing. They mention they wish that their divisions crossed paths more often, but I guess
Yeah.
they're not in the academy, but they've all done some type of training for engineering, security, command, science.
is this like Starfleet extension courses or something like that or community college?
University of Phoenix, Starfleet.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the Phoenix from
Oh yeah, University of Phoenix, and it's the Phoenix at
Yeah.
like at the Smithsonian.
yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. But Jankum, I guess, shows some character growth in that, like, he takes showers
Yes.
now. I didn't know that was a thing he didn't do previously, but
Oh, I think he said that once, didn't he? Like it's like I haven't like bathed or cleaned, or I guess something for like a long time, or maybe
Or
I'm
yeah, I think he
imagining
says he
that.
has like a yearly shower or
That was
something.
yeah.
When he was like making fun of Dow, and he's like, "Oh yeah, take sonic showers now. You should try it." I was kind of having flashbacks to playing the Prodigy video game recently, where like every 20 seconds it felt
Oh
like
no.
Jenkum Pog was like saying some obnoxious thing on repeat, and I was like, "Oh, is he gonna be like this like the whole season?" But I liked when they kind of backpedal a little bit, and he's like, "Oh wait, that was rude. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do better." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, I like that."
I want them all to use the 2 or 3 phrases that they used in the video game. Only that for the entire season. That was so frustrating. I loved watching you, but it was just like, oh wow, they need to get some
Yeah,
more lines in here.
it got old to me too, but
But
uh
yeah, no, I think it's very cool. It's like, especially I love Zero. It's like, oh, that's fantastic. It's like, it's also kind of disturbing on a Tellarite.
and they name drop Gwen, but we don't see her. It sounds like the season 2 will at least open with kind of a story, B story situation where I'm
Yeah.
expecting we'll cut back and forth between these kids on the ship with the Doctor and Janeway, and then Gwen on her mission.
Well, especially when it's like, I guess that she's probably Queen of Solomon by now, which means she's in great peril, probably. It's like if you cut
Yeah.
cut to her, something will not be going well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like the Empire Strikes Back thing in the other Star franchise, where you tell like this, this story that kind of introduces your characters and shows them meet each other and come together, and they have this big accomplishment, and then after that, after they've proven how well they can work together, I guess to make things more fresh and maybe like a bit more challenging for the characters, you split the party, you divide them up, and
Yeah.
that seems to happen a lot in like trilogies. It'll be like the middle stories where everyone splits up, and then at the end they all come back together. But
And hopefully it won't be like Stranger Things, where you're just like the middle part was not good. It's like, get everybody back together.
oh, I've still only seen the first season of Stranger Things. I think I need
I
to
think it
wait
was the
till
second season that happened.
I know everyone loved 4. Is the one
Yeah.
that it seems like they won everyone back.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
the last one. I've missed that. I need to go back and watch that.
I'm waiting for it to like all be finished, and then I'll try to watch
Mm.
it all. Uh, but Rock Talk is very excited about their training with Janeway, and Jankum reminds us that they're still trying to get accepted into the academy. So this
Right.
mission studying with Janeway will look really good on the acceptance board, or what? Yeah, the admissions board.
Application board or
Right. That's a really cool callback to TNG, where it's like, damn, if Wesley Crusher, this little prodigy himself, no pun intended, it's the
Yeah.
flagship of the Federation that's not even like hasn't even been out of space dock for a year, and all of these high-ranking officers on there, like they have to turn to the 14-year-old to save them every 3 episodes, and that guy didn't make it into the academy. Like, what the hell do you have to do to get in? But it,
Well,
it
Nog
almost,
got in even.
well, he did a really good job of cataloging that cargo bay, or
Well, that's true. Yeah.
whatever he did. But I think it makes more sense that it shows that it is hard for them to get into the academy. I wanted this to turn
Yeah.
into the academy show, and it sounds like that was like the intent of the show, but because that's going to be a different show, they had to do something different here. But it makes sense to me, that like, oh yeah, they explained it at the end of season 1 that if we just let y'all into the academy, it wouldn't be fair to all those other
Right.
Wesley Crushers out there that are
All the people
applying
have been
and
waiting to.
yeah,
Yeah.
that are trying to do it the right way. So that's
Although it
actually a
feels like
very
it's like
brilliant
it's
point.
4 people. I mean, it's like you could have let them in, but like
No, because then you
in
got
the story, it makes sense.
you got 4 that get kicked out. You get 4 that's like, well, why'd you let them 4 in?
It feels like Starfleet's gigantic. Like why is Starfleet Academy the only place that you go learn? Like there has to be star bases. Like not everybody can just come to Earth.
I'd love to like see if we could come to a fandom consensus on like the size of Starfleet,
That would be helpful.
because up
Maybe
until
it's much smaller than we think it is.
I've always assumed that up until the Excelsior there were fewer than 2,000 ships, because it's NCC 2000.
Oh yeah.
It's like they only build like 2,000 every 100 years, but I mean they clearly build like a lot more between that and TNG, when we have
Yeah.
5-digit registries instead of 4 digits. So
Well, and then they were building basically a whole fleet to evacuate Romulus, so they are capable of doing it.
And then in Discovery season 2, they have a line of dialogue that mentions something like, "If Control takes over the whole fleet, it'll have like 7,000 ships or something." This is like after the Klingon War, where a lot of them got wiped out. I'm like, how do you have 7,000? Is that like counting each shuttlecraft? Maybe like 7,000 seems a lot.
We actually have Aaron Waltke in the chat who said
Hi,
we decided
Aaron.
that having a heart of gold was not enough to get by itself to get accepted into the academy.
Yeah, well,
Yes, of course.
yeah, it makes a ton of sense, and it actually makes more sense than
Yes.
the obvious thing.
Yeah, it's nice that there's some sort of internal logic that kind of continues through these shows for that. There's a process.
But we see the return of the shuttlecraft from the finale. I think it's the same model that had the Voyager A registry on there. So it was exciting to see that. And then this is something like I don't think anyone was expecting this, but it makes a ton of sense in retrospect.
I was hoping that we'd see him eventually.
Yeah,
I kind of thought we'd see him on Voyager in Discovery, which would have been interesting. But
well, and there's arguably the other 32nd century version of him that was from Living Witness.
Yep, he would have arrived in the 29th century if he kept up the kind of the general speed and what they were talking about for Voyager.
Maybe he blew up in the burn. Maybe that's like he was about to like pull up at Earth. He's like, I finally completed my journey of retracing the Voyager's mission back home to Earth. And then the burn happens and his dilithium explodes and he blows up.
I think we figured out that he got there like 100 years before it happened. So,
but he took like he stopped on a planet and had like another like wife and kid, like he did in a blink of an eye.
That was a great episode. I love that episode. I'll put that on when I'm like in a bad mood or something. Just watch that.
Wink of an Eye is the original series one. Blink of an Eye is Voyager.
Blink of an Eye is the Voyager one.
Which apparently, like Brandon Bragg, I didn't know there was an episode called Wink of an Eye, but he's always said like he didn't know the original series when he was working on TNG and Voyager. So no shame there. Aaron, I was speaking to you after the clip came out, and you pointed out like you noticed the mobile emitter as soon as it appeared on screen.
Yes.
Before we see his face, before we see that Bob Picardo face.
I'm like, yeah, it's a doctor. Or hopefully the doctor and not another hologram. But at this point, it doesn't look like his technology has spread. It's not like, where Raffi was a hologram and all that stuff.
Right.
This is before that.
Yeah, before the reverse engineering of it, which doesn't make like, what's like the Starfleet rules on? Are you allowed to use future technology if you didn't do the time travel? If you just
I don't understand how this is the one exception. It feels like maybe they're like, you know what, we just want that technology to happen faster.
I mean, Janeway doesn't seem to have a problem with that because she went back in time and gave herself future tech to when she like turned Voyager into the Batmobile in Endgame with the armor that would grow on it like Michael Keaton's Batmobile. I remember that's what we all called it in 2001. I don't know if anyone still refers to that as like the Batmobile Voyager. But, yeah, it was also fun with our friend Rachel, who was at the Vegas convention with me and was
unfortunately can't be here tonight. We wish that she was.
Yeah, she couldn't be here, but she had a cardboard Murph that she had signed by a lot of the Prodigy crew that were there. And when this happened, she was like, "Oh, well, I guess I'll go get in the Bob Picardo autograph line and have him sign the slime worm as well." So his signature has been added on there.
Nice.
She didn't get a Robert Beltran autograph, but that's all we have to. That's all we have to mention about Chakotay today.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was instantly, the doctor when he's like, "Oh, of course, like these youngsters probably know all about me," and he's like, "Oh, I'm no mere hologram. I'm the emergency medical hero of the Delta Quadrant. Member of Voyager, friend of Admiral Janeway," and they're like, "Yeah, we've never heard of you."
I love it's like what is it? He says Catherine.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it reminded me of Virtuoso. It was like, it's like, oh, come on now, Catherine. It's like, I just wrote down. It's like, it's not like as if there'd been a flood of medical emergencies. I wasn't aware that we were on first name basis now. Like, sorry, Captain. It's like, so that's kind of cool that's.
I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of shows that, like, they've stayed in contact. The Voyager
Yeah.
people, they still know each other. They're still friends.
He could still be inflating how much they're friends as possible, because he inflated his book. I think it's like, oh, it was the quite well received. I'm like, yeah, but some people
Yeah, he's gonna plug photons be
photons be
free
free.
whenever he
Yeah,
has a chance. I laughed at the
available and Audible.
I'm a doctor, not a butler line.
Yeah, we knew you had to get a doctor, not a something in there. And I love
Yeah,
on the bags that they have all the symbols that they first put in Star Trek: The Motion Picture
right. The
sticker
motion
book.
picture
Yeah,
division
which I have that over
insignias,
on the shelf.
and they're using those on Strange New Worlds also. So
Yeah, which I guess it means it happened before. I mean, it'd been nice to see it in TOS, but obviously that was not existing. So
we just assume it was on TOS all over the place, just always off screen. That's also how I explain why are there no aliens on the Enterprise in TOS. It's like, yeah, I'm sure there are. We just never see
let's
them.
see. You can
That's
see some of
the
the symbols.
OG. The
Yep.
the Did it come out actually in '79 or did it come out in 1980?
The book.
Yeah.
79.
Okay, so they had it out in time. The
Well,
1979
at least it's
motion picture
copyrighted
studio.
1979. It was around December, so who knows if,
Right.
when it actually hit shelves.
But I think I mean I wasn't around then, but I'm sure they had like I know there was like a big push for that movie. I'm sure they had stuff rolling out
I was
before.
9, so I don't really remember specifically.
In the post Star Wars world, where there were no Star Wars toys available at Christmas in '77, I'm sure there was merch rolling out in '79.
I got a gift certificate card thing with a picture on it
You were
from
one of
what I was
those.
going to get eventually. Yeah,
Yeah,
I kind
Santa
of wish
just
I'd kept
got
that
you
and just like,
IOU.
yeah, because I'm sure those are worth something now.
Oh yeah, those have to be rare as hell. I've never seen one. What kid would have held on to that though? Like, that's crazy. But I think it'll be fun seeing these kids with the Doctor
Yeah.
instead of as much time with hologram Janeways they spent. We've gotten like a lot of those scenes. I know like Admiral Janeway's a little different, but just I've had a lot of like Kate Mulgrew and Dow, Kate Mulgrew and Rock Talk. I want to see like I want to hear like Bob Picardo have some conversations with them.
I love it. They really got his expression too when Jankum kind of makes that joke. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure that's what's going to happen, becoming best friends with him, or whatever." And it's just like, I can't do it, but he has this specific look that he would have at the end of a scene in Voyager or something.
Yeah,
It's just like,
the camera kind of lingers on that
yeah,
when
that.
right. Yeah, when he's staring back at a. Because Jenkum's doing the same thing. He's like, oh, yeah, right, hologram. We're not going to like you as much as Hollow Janeway. Oh, I mean, sure, you're probably right. Like the most, like, insincere, forced
Yeah,
agreement I've ever heard. And, yeah, the animation totally nailed Robert Picardo's
that's not easy to
face.
do. Like that's expressions and such.
Yeah. That it stood out to me as well that was, like, a spot on Voyager Doctor. But he's always the self-absorbed, annoying guy who has no idea how obnoxious he is to everyone. So I think it'll be fun to see him around someone like, say, Jenkum Pog, who will be that to him, almost kind of a just
Right.
desserts situation. I see Sohel in our
Hopefully
live
he's
audience saying he looks
grown a
great.
little bit. That would be nice.
Yeah, I'm sure he's had like a little bit of maturity, but holograms are long-lived, so they might take a while
That's true.
to adjust. And Chuck is saying Bob is great to talk to. So Chuck, who I bought a Magatu from his merch table,
Oh, cool.
so he cannot reach his horn, but I tried to see if that pose was possible with the '90s Playmates toy, but fortunately not. But still, a pretty
Remove
cool
his arm.
figure. Yeah, we might have to do some customization, but.
I was in an elevator with Bob Picardo once. I was on the Bob's great to talk to. Yeah, that was fun. And I saw him. He's very involved in the Planetary Society.
Yeah,
So it's been cool to we went and saw them on stage talking about some new space probe at the time, and it was him and Jerry Ryan and someone else who I can't remember off the top of my head. But at the end, they basically had convinced he like convinces Jerry Ryan or whatever like that they're holograms, but then it bounces back on. So it's like you didn't know who was supposed to be the hologram. They were all freezing, computer freeze program like every other minute. So it was very fun.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
confusing.
sounds.
Sorry.
No, I was confused, but I thought that's actually a neat idea.
So it's just sort of like a the story within story within story kind of thing where like they're probably both holodecks.
Yeah, they kind of play around with that a little bit in TNG in the second Moriarty episode.
Yeah.
Hollow ship, ship in a bottle. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, hollow ship. That doesn't make sense. It's been a long week.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know anything else on like the Earth stuff. Like we got some cool shots of San Francisco area.
That looks very pretty. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been staring at that for a little while based on a comic book cover I'm doing. So, but yeah, no, I always like in Prodigy. Well, always the one other time we saw it, just how they've really captured the light of how like when it's a really nice day. There's a specific quality of light that you don't get like if it was a really sunny day in New York or whatever. It's just because different altitude or latitude, and so yeah, I think that was pretty cool. But yeah, it looks very cool. That pillar thing in the middle is like from Star Trek Online, right? Is that where we first saw that?
Yeah, it's like to me it makes me think of like those like star bases we would see with like say like Encounter at Farpoint, or there's like the one in Lower Decks and Envoys.
Yeah,
that they go back to in season 2, and they set up the little table, like the college day table.
Starbase. Oh yeah, that's not. What was that? I don't remember now. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember the name of that planet, but yeah, they have that. And then in the DS9 episode, Once More Into the Breach, where the spoilers for DS9, but the episode where Klingon legend Kor dies. They're attacking a Dominion starbase, which is like built on a planet with like a big tower. It looks similar to that. I don't know how that like services like starships. Like, do people just like beam down there like Starbase 11 on the original series, or and you do like your ship up in orbit, or what? But yeah, I don't know if that's like in Star Trek Online or not, but it looks really familiar.
Kor was in TAS too.
Oh yes, yeah, voiced by
yeah.
James Doohan.
Yes, just like everybody else in that
just
scene,
like
probably.
just like Koloth. And
yeah, exactly.
Were there any Klingons in TAS not voiced by James Doohan?
Yes, there's one that was that George Takei did.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, George did some voices on there. He only did like 2 or 3 though.
Yeah, I think Lou Scheimer did a Romulan or 2, but yeah.
And then there's a lady Klingon that McCoy hangs out with in the time in the one with Kor.
She never speaks, unfortunately.
Okay. I was gonna ask, is that Majel or Nichelle?
No, that was a we don't give her a line person. I guess it's like
we don't need.
She's
to give
the one who put the
dialogue.
Whatchamacallit, the little capsule bomb that looks like a pill, and puts it into the Tic Tac bomb or whatever. Puts it into the little slot behind the emergency door was. She's the one who did that. I guess Kali, that was her name.
I guess they were always trying to have like Klingon women doing stuff ever since.
No, I thought that was Dove, yeah. I mean, she was a whatever, a saboteur.
Yeah, there's the Klingon.
She had
lady,
a skirt, but
the one Christopher Lloyd blows up in Star Trek 3, but she was kind of cool, like where she like accepted her own death with dignity. I was like, that was I guess it wasn't until TNG where we got any other Klingon women beyond that, but they were always like trying. So I guess
I love
or not
Quark's
but
wife. What's her name?
C for effort. Grilka.
Yeah. I think she's my favorite female Klingon.
Both those episodes are pretty good.
She just the whole scene where it's like, oh, they're laughing. It's like, I'm going to give you one chance to take your hand off my leg before I stab her or whatever. She was just very, I don't know. She and Armin Shimmerman worked really well together.
Yeah, I guess that's why they brought her back, because they did have really good chemistry.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to divert to Deep Space Nine.
No, I love talking about Klingons and DS9, like 2 of my favorite things ever. So, but But yeah, the shuttle ride up to the ship, we have a Bolian and I guess a human piloting, but
Not what's her name? For half a second, I was just like, "Oh no, she's back." What was the shoot? I forgot the character's name. The one she was pretending to be a Starfleet officer. What is wrong
yeah,
with me?
from season 1.
Yes, I got about 4 hours of sleep last night. So. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper, hoping that it will do something.
Yeah, it was the one that the lady from The Good Place played.
Essentia, thank you, well, Aaron.
Essentia, okay.
Essentia, yes.
I'm glad
But
we
for
have
half a second, I thought that was her. I was like, oh no, okay, never mind.
glad we have people who work on the show and the
Yeah,
in the
thank you.
audience to.
We do watch
keep
this
us
show.
correct.
I really have watched
Yes.
this.
I've watched it a lot lately. I had it like auto played on my TV a few weeks ago
Oh yeah.
to help boost it in whatever little way that can. But I like Murph's personality coming out in here when he's kind of like whenever Dow's like getting like we were talking about like I guess just to kind of remind us his personality and character traits. He seems to be like a little bit more like early Dow, where he's kind of assumes he's the
Yeah.
leader, and But I like Murph kind of pushing back a little bit.
Did you also on the planet? The one thing I forgot to mention that he kind of mirrors everything that Rock Talk is doing. He was doing this.
Oh.
It's sort of like this sort of little, she'd be, what do you mean you do? This is boring, and he's like, like that.
Oh yeah, he's because like here, like when she like picks up Dow, he has like
Yeah.
his arms raised.
Yep. It seems like he's kind of just watching and I don't know, learning from it or mimicking it or.
Is this? I might be reading too much into it, but is this a possible hint that he's going to be like shape shifty, where he can like morph into people? He's like
I
trying to
don't know.
mimic them.
Oh, that's interesting. No, I didn't think about that, but
But even here, they both kind of have like that same like surprised expression.
yeah.
Yeah, I did not.
So I thought that
notice
was cool. But yeah, I do like that. I'm glad that Murph actually has a personality beyond just being cute.
Like, look at his mouth here, and like look at her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's yeah. I did not catch that. Go away.
Okay, fine. I'll leave. No.
I was talking to the pop up. But yeah, here, like when she puts her head or her hand behind her head, it looks like
Yeah.
he's like raising his hand to do the same thing. Yeah, that's totally intentional, I think. What I want to know with him is oh yeah, and look here, the same gesture with the hands.
Mm-hmm.
Great, Aaron. I didn't see anyone else point that out yet.
What I did is I went through and watched the trailer and looked at each person separately. I just watched what they did. And that's how I picked it up.
When you're saying stuff like that, you're making Aaron Waltke nervous because he's like, oh, if we make a season 3, we have like these weirdos like analyzing every little frame like this.
Aaron knows that we already were doing that. I'm pretty sure. Mike McMahon may have actually warned everybody already about my Easter egg searching and stuff.
Still got that like that one.
If I
weird
didn't have
barrel
work,
thing
I would have
that
been
identify.
Jorg. I would blow him out of the water because, but I don't have the time to do that, unfortunately.
I think he's an android. I think he just never sleeps.
I was like, oh, it just came out, and now you have all of these. It's like, good lord, he's a teacher, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so it's. I'm just being funny, but yeah, I love doing finding that kind of stuff.
Well,
Yes, as Sohail said, when they make season 3, not if.
Yeah, I like that. When. Well said, Sohel.
Jorg has superpowers.
What I'm curious about is Murph doing like security training, like he's actually like going to apply to get into the academy, or is he more of just like he's just there as like Rock Talk's pet, and he's
Yeah, I don't know.
like I don't like our slime
I'm
worms.
hoping we
like,
actually get some information on that.
Yeah, do they have like a society, or are they like advanced creatures, or are they like Federation
Well, it was
members
used
or
as a
something?
like slur basically against Wesley, right?
Yeah,
So I don't know.
solenoid slime.
Aaron
worm.
Walke says we literally spent 3
Melanoid.
meetings getting those symbols on the bag right because we knew someone would zoom in and enhance.
Yeah, well, I hope you
I
feel
got
validated.
the book
now.
right here.
Yeah, if anyone ever like questions you for doing that, be like, no, like here's proof. This is what these people
Yeah.
do.
No, it's very cool.
the explanation of Solemn and kind of remind us what they established at the end of season 1, that there's a wormhole that goes to future Solemn 52 years in the future, where it's terrible. There's been a civil war. We saw the Vanakot. Vanakot.
Vanakot.
All these Prodigy words I'm not used to saying. It's been so long. I'm gonna have to.
It has been, yeah.
Yeah. Have to get back into that Prodigy headspace, but
That's gonna be the same thing with Lower Decks in a few weeks.
yeah, which I'm very excited to get back to. But they explained that there's the peaceful Solemn now that hasn't made first contact yet, and then like the really terrible one in the future where Chakotay is. They picked up a signal. These kids are gonna help Janeway investigate the wormhole, and we don't see any of the Gwen stuff, but
No.
still assuming it'll kind of cut back and forth between her. And there's cool stuff there on Solemn. Like I think that we'll likely see a young version of the Diviner.
That's what I was thinking. She's actually going to maybe be able to reconnect with her father and somehow maybe save him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
It'd be cool. Like John Noble play that character as like play him, but like young and he hasn't turned evil yet.
right. Exactly.
I don't know what that would sound like, but I'm sure he would do it.
Walter from Fringe when he's like excited about something. Probably.
Yeah, like a lot of like enthusiasm and a little
Yeah.
eccentric.
And I love, we also, I mean, I'm sure you're going to talk about this. The today Solemn, future Solemn, this timey-wimey stuff hurts my head.
Yeah, so we just had Star Trek quote Buffy on Strange New Worlds recently, and now we're quoting Doctor Who, another popular franchise.
Plus, it's a little bit of a callback to future tense with Janeway. She's like,
Janeway.
yeah, time travel. Since my first day on the job, it's Captain, I swore I'd never get myself caught in one of these godforsaken paradoxes. Excuse me. The future is the past is the future. It all gives me a headache. So it's kind of in that vein.
Yeah, she's probably like, God damn it, Chakotay, why do you keep getting me involved in time travel?
I was trying to do Janeway's voice, and then I started choking, so I just bailed out of that.
The quote of Doctor Who though, like the
that was
timey-wimey,
great.
like I say that on the show all the time. Like whenever time travel comes up, like I would say, like, how do you think they're gonna do the crossover with Lower Decks? I would say, oh, they're gonna do something timey-wimey.
Some wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like that is like part of the modern day vocabulary. So
I mean, with the amount of time that these people time travel, somebody's going to have like sayings like that, you would think, because we're still human in the future.
yeah. What about the new ship, the Voyager A, that gets a lot of love? It's we see it like in the dry dock above Utopia Planitia. So it's constructed the same. This is where we saw the original Voyager under construction in Relativity.
Yes.
When speaking of timey-wimey, it's sad
When we
knowing this
see,
is like a year
what's her
before this atmosphere will be set on fire.
Yeah. I still feel like they're going to fix that sooner rather than later. The Martian atmosphere, hopefully.
Yeah.
But the what was it? Oh yeah. So the I got the information on that is it's a where are we going? It's a Lamar class. No, Lamar. Where did my notes go? I just lost my. Oh, there. Lamar Special Class Science Vessel, named for the scientist and Hollywood actress Hedy Lamar, who basically created Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, or the basis for what we use today for that.
She decoded, or no, she didn't like decode Nazi stuff, but I think like
No, she
helped,
created frequencies that kept skipping, and basically like the Borg shields, like the Starfleet does to stop the Borg from shooting them. They keep changing their frequencies. That's sort of what this did with the torpedo. So the Nazis couldn't interrupt the torpedo or scramble its directional information.
Yeah, so
and they
that was
actually. Oh, sorry.
Well, go ahead.
I was going to say that what's really cool about that is like they used a miniaturized player piano mechanism connected with the radio signal. So it's, it was like basically it looked like a ticker tape, kind of remember the old computer punch cards? Mm-hmm. Player pianos look pretty much like that.
I mean, I don't remember
as it ran through.
Pictures.
Well, yes, obviously. But as it goes through, it jumps around. So I guess that was what it was changing the frequency as through this tape or something like that. I thought it was really kind of interesting. And she was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame in 2014.
And on top of like all that brilliance, she was also like a beautiful like Hollywood actress. Like she was in like movies with like Clark Gable and like the big stars.
So this new ship is 29 decks, 800 plus crew, and there's 2 schools, which is so we got families back again. And the original Voyager had 15 decks and about 152 people, at least to start with.
So definitely moving on up. A bigger ship. What do you think of the design?
Well, you can't see it all in context, which I'm sure is done on purpose, so we don't, you know. I think it's got definitely sovereign influences in it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the deflector dish down there, just sort of the shape of it, and so I think it's going to be cool.
I was very happy with it. It definitely it looks right. It really fits in kind of like that post Sternbach era, like just shortly after Nemesis. This is what I expect Starfleet to look like. But it's also just like it's a cool design.
It's funny, you can tell that it's bigger. I don't know how, but it's like it feels like, oh, maybe because of the shuttle. You're like, oh wow, that's a much larger ship.
I never loved the Intrepid class of like the original Voyager. I like it from certain angles, but there's other angles where not so much. But this one I think I'm actually going to prefer over the original Voyager, which might be blasphemous to some people.
And it does not have variable warp field pylons.
Yeah, they look pretty stationary.
I guess they're figured already out how to fix that without moving them around.
Mm-hmm. But I like the it's basically like a Voyager, but like with like bigger pylons and a bigger ship and bigger warp nacelles.
I designed at one point a Kelvin timeline Voyager, and it looks not dissimilar to this.
I can see that too. Yeah.
Oh, Aaron Waltke says, "Who says they don't move?" All right.
Oh, you know what? I bet it has the same propulsion system that the Protostar had, where I bet like the third nacelle comes out. Do we see anything?
Well,
like
it
that
probably has a what is the drive that the Pathfinder has, and what am I trying to say? Not hyperspace.
The Daedalus had the slipstream.
Slipstream drive.
Okay, I forgot that we established that. Okay, yeah, the Starfleet is making slipstream ships.
So I'm assuming it's some sort of slipstream drive.
I was curious, when they teased the Voyager A at the season 1 finale. I was like, oh, is the Voyager A going to be a Pathfinder class ship, which is kind of like it was the Star Trek Online version of kind of a sovereign-y Intrepid.
Looks like Voyager B is. Not Voyager A.
Then Picard made Voyager B that, and I was like, oh well, I love the Pathfinder, but I guess it's going to Voyager B. I was kind of hoping to get that for Voyager A, but I kind of get like the best of both worlds, no pun intended, because I like this design too. So this design is canon, and then the Pathfinder is canonically the Voyager B.
What's weird is by the time you get to Voyager B, it's going to feel design-wise a little outdated, probably because you'll have many more shows in between. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
if they end up using it at all.
This is less than 20 years before that, so I guess Voyagers take a beating. As
much as the Enterprise
said, flagships take a beating. That's why the F didn't stick around long. So I guess, I don't know what Janeway's going to do with the ship in season 2, but might be putting some miles on it. But yeah, their excitement is really cool. It's almost like Kirk in the motion picture, like. Seeing the Enterprise for the first time.
Or in Crisis Point.
Yeah, where
they made fun of that.
Well, I'll say this, it's a lot more brief, so no one gets bored looking at this ship. I know some people. I think that model is fantastic and is gorgeous.
If we had more view of this, I would let it take longer. I
wouldn't mind seeing more.
It's probably done the way it's cut, just so we don't get all of it at one time.
Yeah,
I can't remember if it was Aaron Waltke or if I read it somewhere. It was like they weren't going to show. They were only going to show 2 minutes, and something. No, we're showing 4 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, it's when I was talking to Kevin and Dan, they told me like, they only wanted 2 minutes. We're going to give y'all 4 minutes. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. But it was.
I honestly got so into it. I just was like, oh wait, why is it stopping? I was like, oh, that's right. This is not an episode.
Well, like
That was hard.
2 minutes, that would have been enough to like, okay, here's like the kids, they're on Earth, they're, trying to get into the academy, doing all their stuff.
Doctor
And then,
shows up and they
oh,
get
look,
in.
the doctor.
Yeah, and they could
And
get in the shuttle, and that could be it.
yeah, and
you
that would have
drop
been,
there.
I would have been excited. That would have been adequate. And then instead they give us the Enterprise A on top of that. And for all we know, in like the
Voyager A.
final, I'm sorry, Voyager A. For all we know, in the final cut of the episode, maybe like when they take off in the shuttle, it like cuts to Gwen doing solemn stuff, and then cuts back
Yeah.
to the Voyager.
That's true.
Just saving that.
There might be other stuff in between that we're not seeing. I do like the Doctor's outfit. It feels very. It almost has that Captain Picard field jacket sort of feel to it a little bit.
I don't want to like. I'm always hesitant to say like my favorite or my least favorite until like I've been able to like sit on that opinion for a little bit.
Right.
But I think that the Prodigy uniform, the adults, the ones the adults are wearing, not that the kids are wearing, but it might be my favorite Starfleet uniform just because it has like so many things that. As I was just talking earlier, I love the all good things comm badge.
Yeah.
Just as someone who likes to like dress up in uniforms, sometimes I like uniforms that are like wrap around or like jackets or something. I don't like the like TOS like just like a big sweater you just pull on over your head. Like
There was a
those don't
Star
look
Trek
great on me.
Online design that I really liked that I don't think was ever realized. It was closely realized, I guess, kind of like a little bit like the Picard first seasons or something like that. But what?
Oh yeah, I
Oh.
know there's a stove.
Just got a text
uniforms.
message. It's like I have COVID. I'm what? Okay, sorry. So more people. That's that was Scott Mance. So
Oh, yikes.
watch out. Yeah. What was I going to say? So the uniform. It has the pips on the side. There's a picture with Data wearing it. I'll pull it up sometime. See if I can find it while we're talking. But I always thought that uniform was pretty cool.
Oh, the Doctor still has no rank.
Oh yeah,
See, like
that's what. There is no pip. That's why. Like yeah.
they have pips on their collar, but he's still he doesn't need an actual commission to be a Starfleet badass. I'm fine with him being rankless. It's true to how he was in the show. We got a little bit of interior of the Voyager A, just kind of like the shot of them walking out of the shuttle bay.
The riff on the their hallway. I mean, obviously much bigger. They were very like
that is big.
square-ish.
And it's here where the Doctor says you're fortunate to continue your studies on Voyager with the rest of Starfleet busy with the Romulan evacuation. Janeway learned that a captain was needed for the maiden voyage, so she answered the call. So that confirms Admiral Janeway will be in command of the Voyager A, and sounds like we're getting some tie-in to Picard Season 1.
I put a link in the private chat for the other uniform that I was talking about. I know that somebody online that said, "Oh, they're so disappointed to see the Doctor. That means we're not going to get Bashir." Like, I don't know why those two are connected. That doesn't necessarily mean that.
Here we go. Look at this dude.
So I kind of like the rank strip thing off to the side there. It makes it pretty easy to see. It's almost like a battery level now that I look at it.
It looks like bars on a sailboat or something. This is from the Star Trek Countdown comic that tied into Star Trek 09.
And it looked a little bit like the Star Trek Online game at the time.
Yeah. That was like the default uniform originally, and I think at one point they changed it to something, or maybe this is what they changed it to.
But I like the concept of it. But the one with the Doctor actually, it's not exactly like this, obviously, but it does have a nice feel to it.
Yeah, and I prefer the uniforms that are more. I like a colorful Star Trek. I love Strange New Worlds. My two favorite Star Treks on right now are Strange New Worlds and Prodigy. My third is Lower Decks. The three most bright and colorful ones. I just like a bright future. That J.J. Abrams had this quote. I used to make fun of him for saying this, but he was kind of defending his lens flares, and he's saying he wants a future so bright that it can't be the brightness can't be contained in the frame, and it's just like exploding out of the screen. And I don't really like the way he realized that, or I don't like the extent he took it, rather. But I like, just give me some colorful. I want yellow pipes in the corridors, like in the original series. I want red shirts and gold shirts and blue shirts running around. So I love my DS9 black and grays, but yeah, my preference for Star Trek is going to be the more colorful uniforms.
I feel like Strange New Worlds has hit a pretty good balance between the two.
Yeah, totally.
I
Just
love that, like the little corridors, where we're going down the corridor, the little offshoots that have like the bright colored pipes and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, it kind of actually makes sense too. Like, much easier to follow, and
I forgot how much I love the Strange New Worlds Jeffries tube until I saw Paul Wesley and Rebecca Romaine hang out in one
Yeah.
recently, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that Jeffries tube is gorgeous on the show. But I'm excited to see more of the Voyager A. You know, I want to see
Yeah.
the sick bay. I want to see the bridge. I want to see the engineering. So
Do they have what their mess hall looks like? Which hopefully it won't be a mess hall, but just name something different or whatever. Oh, maybe we'll send Neelix. Maybe he's the chef. By now, because we've had other people from the Delta Quadrant show up. Obviously, we had an Enterpriseian.
yeah,
in the
he could easily
finale,
show
so-
up.
Yeah.
They could surprise us with Neelix and just be like, Neelix, what are you doing here? And he's just like, oh, I came through a Borg corridor. You know, a lot of people are using them these days since the collective isn't as active.
Nobody commented on the carpet in the middle of the hallway. Well, to me, it doesn't look like carpet. It sort of just looks like a different texture. But apparently,
it's like-
carpet confirmed. It's like
I think it could be like a rubber mat or something.
what Aaron Walke said is carpet.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like-
No, don't. Well,
that's why I'm like,
there we
okay.
go. Carpet
Carpet
confirmed. Y'all heard it here first.
It definitely would make it less like clanky and or like less echoey.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see carpet. You know, I'm old enough, Aaron, I remember when people used to complain like, why would ships put carpet in the sick bay? That makes no sense. Why is there carpet all over the ship? And now they
It
make
doesn't make sense, really. I mean,
No.
that's like it traps dust and dirt and all sorts of things that you don't want on your ship. And yeah, in real life, if ships were real, they would not have carpet in most places. I would think.
maybe like in your quarters,
Yeah,
you know, like maybe I feel like in your room, but
yeah.
yeah, no one wants to vacuum all that.
That's back when people would say that the Enterprise bridge looked like a flying dentist office or something like that.
or a hotel lobby.
hotel lobby. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's pretty much the entire clip. But they gave us a
Yeah.
lot. It was a big 4-minute chunk. New ship, legacy character confirmed returning, new uniforms. The Lamar. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say about the Hedy Lamar thing. Is that when I hear the name Lamar, my default that my brain goes to is what was his name? Mirabeau Lamar, whatever. He was the second president of the Republic of Texas. But if you live in Austin, you know you're very familiar with the word Lamar because there's Lamar Boulevard is like one of the major roads running from north to south Austin. And there's just like a shitload of stuff around here named after him. But
We
yeah.
probably have a Lamar Street somewhere because we tend to have like big Hollywood people from that era that have like a drive or a road or whatever, probably where their house was.
So like here's an interesting historical figure. I mean, like I'm sure he was an asshole. He's a terrible person. Like massacred a bunch of Native Americans, but him and Sam Houston would have like this rivalry where like one of them would be elected president of Texas and they would move the capital to like Houston, and then Lamar would be elected. He would like move it back to Austin, and so they hated each other. But it's some interesting history there, or like some saucy drama. I'll say people should read up on that if you want like some real drama. These two bickering almost like little girls type dudes. They're remembered as like these big famous important historical figures. Kind of cracks me up. But yeah, that's the Texas history lesson for the show.
Yes, we do have a Lamar Street. Close to the LA River near downtown.
Well, LA's big, so y'all have a lot of streets.
Yeah.
Is there a Fathery Street? Is there a Fathery Street in
Who
LA?
knows? Let's check.
That's a very
This
rare
is exciting
last name.
content. Let's search up our names as streets.
Yeah, let's watch two dudes Google stuff.
No, there's Father's Office. That's the closest, which is a bar. So you can say, "Oh, I'm at Father's Office."
So you're telling me there's not a Fathery Street in LA yet?
Not that I can see.
Well,
Yes,
we'll see what we can do about that.
we have to have a bar on a ship named Fathery, so it can be retroactively become a street and have a bar.
There we go, like
in
10
the
forward.
past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we found the life
Fathery
hack.
5.
Guinan's life hack.
Yes.
But yeah, I'd be curious what people think about the clip. If anyone wants to comment and let us know, or we can talk about it more or not in person, but directly on the Tex-Trek Facebook page or on the Tex-Trek Discord server. But very very exciting to see that they're not giving up on Prodigy. They're still doing a big push to find it a new home, and I'm just thrilled to know that we will get it eventually, and the story is far from over. We got here. Aaron Walke says, choosing Hedy Lamarr as both an old Hollywood artist and scientist felt like a nice homage to both her and a nod to Kate Mulgrew herself, who's active in STEM advocacy for women. That's a brilliant point, Aaron Walke. They call it the Janeway or the Scully effect, but it's like the Janeway effect too. A lot of women that are like my age that were growing up in the 90s when X-Files and Voyager were on, like they weren't inspired to pursue that career field.
Yeah.
So really cool. Including speaking of like these uniforms, one person I know who does have a very beautiful Prodigy uniform in person is another person named Aaron. We have so many Aarons, but Dr. Aaron McDonald, who works on the show as an example of
which is weird because she used to come to our improv shows, so it's like going from our fake Star Trek to like the real Star Trek.
A lot of people used to go to those improv. I know you asked me to like deliver that message to
oh yeah, Maddie and Mary
Chiefo, and but like they had already left. They weren't at the con long, but
yeah, they tend to not stay in one place very long.
Oh, but like speaking of, I was telling you off camera, like some of the actors that moderated panels. Mary Chiefo moderated a panel, I think. And maybe I imagined that. Pretty sure I saw that. I don't know.
That sounds like that sounds like something she did.
Aaron Walke says we need to have a meeting of the Aaron/Aarons. Well, because they'll get on that.
Because Aaron's husband is Aaron, and I'm Aaron Walke. We got there's somebody else too. I'm trying to remember who it is. Shoot, but yeah, we called it the Triumvirate of Aarons when we were at the bar after the improv shows.
Has there ever been a Star Trek character named Aaron? I cannot think of one.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I know I'll never have a ship named after me because Harvey is just a boring last name for a ship.
I mean, if Terry Metalis was named Aaron, there'd be like all kinds of stuff named Aaron. So
I'm looking up Aaron to see if on Memory Alpha, see if there's something that's been. It has to have a name somewhere. Admiral Aaron, a human male flag officer in the 24th century. That was from. Oh, Aaron became infected with the parasitic bean, like the bug butt.
Bugs, yeah, it was in conspiracy.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate. They need an Aaron who does not get.
There are actually a couple Aarons.
Bugs. Who else we got?
We have Aaron Stanford. Oh, that's a real world. Aaron Connor was the leader of the Earth colony on Moab 4, a genetically engineered society of. Oh, that's the one who fell in love with Troy, the perfect society.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Stellar Core was going to smack into the planet. Aaron Satie, that was Satie's father. So he was supposed to be. He's a good guy. Aaron Byers was a Starfleet officer who is a member of Starfleet Command. Like he's also he was a real person in real life, or he is. Yeah,
so like one of those names that they like. Yeah. If you look up certain like holodeck programs, they'll tell you, oh, it was written by Ronald B. Moore because his name appeared on a screen. So he's also a fictional character.
There's somebody in here named Aaron Harvey too. real world article. It is very weird to see your own name in Memory Alpha.
On Memory Alpha. Oh,
yeah.
Maybe you'll see your real name like in Star Trek on like a dedication plaque or something.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Will get thrown in there.
So Jorg can find it.
Yeah, so then Jorg will find it, and then I'll do a stream talking about it. So it'll all come full circle. But yeah, excited.
I would bet one of the characters from Fairhaven was named Aaron, probably. So yeah,
Could be.
I'm excited. This did its job. It got me excited for season 2. I mean, not that I wasn't excited, but I feel like if you saw this and you didn't know what the show is about, it kind of gives you enough groundwork because it kind of goes over a little bit of what the last scene of the last episode or season, and that kind of like that debriefing did a really good job of encapsulating kind of what the thrust of the show seems like it's going to be for that season.
Yeah, and it's like we spent the entire first 20 episodes of the show just like getting the kids to Starfleet. We haven't seen anything like what happens when they're actually like in the Alpha Quadrant doing stuff, you know. So
I didn't know we'd ever actually get there. I kind of was hoping that we would, but
yeah, and I'm very happy that we got there as quickly as we did.
yeah. And not that everything has to be based on nostalgia, but just having things that you're familiar with and that 50 years of content and history to pull from is nice. So they can do what all the modern shows have been doing. Just imagine what we aren't showing you. Yes.
Yeah. Aaron Welke says, if we showed you all this as a teaser, just imagine what we aren't showing you.
So these episodes are 3 hours long, is what you're saying?
They're going to be 3 hours long. There's going to be every episode will have a cameo from Patrick Stewart or William Shatner.
I'm wondering if that's one thing we could talk about really quickly is that in October of 2022, Kevin Hageman said at Comic-Con, it's not Picard, but it's not just one. But 2 pretty big characters are coming back, and they're not from the same Star Trek show. And Chakotay isn't who I'm talking about. So I was trying to think of, like, who could that be? I feel like Worf is a good candidate.
Oh, yeah.
I know that Michael Dorn does a lot of voices, so that kind of feels like that works. Barkley, maybe, would be cool. But if they're not from the same show, then I don't know. Like, Ro could still come back, although she'd probably be too expensive. The actual actress.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, pretty much like anyone from
O'Brien,
from TNG or DS9 would be. You know what? They could even go like the other direction. Like they could have like a younger like Agnes Girardi or someone like from Picard or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, have like Tindy from Lower Decks show up or something like.
I don't know if is she considered a pretty big character? Agnes, I mean she is, but I mean like I don't know.
I assume you're probably right that it's going to be someone from. Probably either TNG or DS9,
and I think that's the only negative that I saw online was just people saying, "This is really cool, but I hope it's not all just random nostalgic cameos because I like the new characters and it'd be cool to build other new characters in," which is true because you can't have nostalgia in the future if we don't have new characters now.
Well, and we also have confirmation from Aaron Welke in the live chat that. We will see Gwen. Our viewer Jill47 was worried
good.
We wouldn't get Gwen, so we have that confirmed. Well, I think that's everything we have to say on this trailer. But there's a very big episode of Strange New Worlds coming out this week. The season 2 finale going to drop in like 5 hours or so.
That's right.
No, 6 hours. Because I don't know if Paramount Plus knows that sometimes they drop.
I haven't even. Yeah, I forgot that's happening today.
So that's nuts, but we'll have a first reaction stream tomorrow night with Rachel and the gang, and Dave and I will have the deep dive discussion on Friday night, and then next week we'll have to do some type of a Strange New Worlds season 2 overview and kind of talk about it. It was a roller coaster of a season, all over the place, but.
It's almost like, oh, we're not going to get 3 or 4 more seasons, so let's throw every special kind of episode that we put once in a season into all of the one season. I don't know. It was definitely all over the place.
The season of big swings, as they refer to it. But I've also seen people say things like schizophrenic or bipolar or just.
What did I call it? Oh shoot! I had. Oh, I forgot. It was like narrative something. I had a Strange New Worlds, the SNW. I had
another acronym.
Yeah, acronym. Yeah, for I can't remember what it is now, but it was basically kind of like not knowing what narrative type style they want to pin down.
Well, maybe you'll remember within 24 hours, and you can let us know tomorrow if you're on the first reaction stream.
I am going to be working.
Oh, you said you're
off-site
busy. You're
tomorrow,
busy
so
tomorrow.
if I get home in time, I will definitely be on.
But yeah, that'll be fun. And then this weekend, Saturday, if you're part of the Tex-Trek Patreon, you can come in as little as $2 a month. It goes a long way to help us out. But we will be doing a watch party. We're going to be watching animated Star Trek. So we have a Lower Decks episode, Hear All Trust Nothing. We're going to watch. That's the DS9 crossover.
Oh, yeah.
Then we're going to watch the Prodigy episode, All the World's a Stage, which is kind of a TOS tie-in. With the
Is there a
the
TAS?
Enterpriseian cosplay. Is there TAS what like
Episode for the animated watch along?
Not Saturday, but I don't think we've done a TAS episode.
Well, we have the 50th coming up. Maybe we can work on doing some sort
Yeah.
of like a watch along.
So for September, yeah, we should do something. We should do something special TAS for September. Speaking of TAS in September, I've been informed by GalaxyCon, who's coming to Austin September 1st through the 3rd, that I've been approved to host a panel at GalaxyCon. It will be in celebration of the animated series' 50th anniversary. So that's
very cool. Yeah, we need to
kinda-
talk about that still.
Yeah, kind of scary because like I've not started work on that at all, but I think it'll work out. I'm looking for. It's exciting, and I'm so fortunate to be friends with Aaron Harvey, the expert. I was gonna say like the unofficial expert, but I think you're like the official expert. Like
You might be at this point.
like Paramount pays you to like do stuff. Like
That's
you're
true.
You're the official expert on the animated series.
I have like when I've been having phone calls, they'll say something and I'll go into like a 20-minute explanation about one offhanded comment. They're like, "Wow, you know a lot." And I don't know if that's like praise or please be quiet.
Yeah, I get told that too sometimes. I'm not sure how to take it, but nothing wrong with it.
ADHD kind of just rearing its ugly head. No, but it's very weird to think that I'm one of the people that know the most about that. Like I never thought I'd be a Star Trek expert on anything, and not anything, but I mean just like it's an odd place to be. Very nice, but very, very strange.
Well, it's well earned and well deserved.
Thank
That
you.
you're very passionate about the animated series. You turned me around on it. I was a convert. I was like no, that's Gene didn't want that to be canon. This is like the dumb cartoon. And I'm like, oh my god, I love the animated series. What was wrong with me? So
There's a lot of dumb stuff that is dumber than the TAS episodes.
yes, every Star Trek show has kind of done something dumb here or there, but thank you so much, Aaron Welke, for joining us today.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
Sharing some insights and for introducing me to the Hagman brothers at the convention. And we will be back tomorrow with some Strange New World Season 2 finale first reactions, followed by the deep dive discussion with me and Dave on Friday night. And until next time, as always, live long and prosper, y'all.